Brett Altman, welcome to Seeing Other People.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like I honestly wish like the last 15 minutes of us talking was recorded.
Yeah.
But this is going to be fun.
It would have just been me admiring like all the podcast episodes you've done. So I'm guessing your audience knows about that history.
Which the research you did is very impressive. And I just have to ask, as somebody who just listened to the first episode of Seeing Other People, what am I like?
I'm getting the same vibe. But
Okay.
but the biggest thing for me was like in the first 15 minutes of the first ever episode, you were talking to your co-host and like you were very honest. It was something about like a text that you had sent, and you were just very honest and direct in this text. And for me, like that is so important in any relationship, communication, friendship, boyfriend, girlfriend. I was like, we would get along.
All right.
'Cause
And we do.
I'm trying to do more of
And
that
we
in my
do.
life. Yeah.
What is the last honest text that you sent?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like I had an honest conversation recently, which I think that's more where my head's at these days, like in dating and anything. I'm like, all right, I would rather talk in person, because I'm not doing like the totally casual thing where it's like random hookups. So for me, we had like I didn't expect to go here so quickly, but we're doing a friends with benefits thing, me and my friend. And like every couple of times we hang out, we like talk about the situation that we're in. And so like a couple weeks ago, we were like, you're still good with friends with benefits like I am. And it was a very direct and good and healthy conversation from both sides.
Love how you guys are going about it, but also love that you're doing it and that you're open to sharing. How did this start?
Another good question. It's so funny. I pictured like what could we talk about? You know, like where's it gonna go? You never know, which is the beauty of this. We had met at through a friend at like 30th birthday party a while ago, and we had dated and it didn't work out like a year ago. And then this friend got married and we're at the wedding. Everyone's looking good. And so we were like, can we try this again, but like be very direct and forward the entire time? Whereas last time, I feel like even me as a growing boy, like in dating culture, like I wasn't as direct. So now I just feel like it's been the most adult thing I've ever done.
That's
amazing.
amazing.
I feel like, it's been good and fun.
I feel like it's even just from a like growth standpoint, if you can get to the point where you can do that with somebody, I think it enhances all of your relationships because you learn how important honest conversations are and how being so transparent can actually get you what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for years, like, and we can get into wherever my dating history and stuff as we go, but I wasn't direct. I think that's like just the culture that we're in, right? It's like, I even feel like the first episode, or I heard some episode from you where you were like, I didn't do the ghosting thing. Like I would send the text, which I connect with so much, because I think it's like, let's just like break that stereotype that like people dating in their 20s and 30s in New York ghost each other and don't give a shit, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I'm a big, like, I feel like a couple years ago, there was a moment where I had this where it was like I was with somebody and I wasn't comfortable, and like there was a part of me that used to not speak up because people pleaser mentality, and then like I did speak up, and it kind of changed my outlook on, you know, like the truth. Well, like it always sets you free, as corny as it is, but I believe it. Yeah.
Well, it's also amazing once you do speak up and realize, oh, if I share what's on my mind, then someone understands what's on my mind. Then we're not guessing. We're not trying to read each other's minds, which none of us can do, no matter how smart, no matter how talented.
Yeah.
So let's all just talk about things.
Right. But it's scary, and it's really hard. And I know the funny thing is your biggest fear when you have any conversation that's like serious with whoever, it never goes the way you're going to project it, right? Like ever. So, that couple of hot questions right off the bat.
I know.
Good stuff.
I know. Let's
She's a pro,
rewind
everybody,
for a second.
obviously.
Brett Altman, you are a musician.
Yes. Yeah.
You are a Jersey boy.
Yes.
And you are single.
Yes.
Okay. There's so much.
There is a lot
There's so
to unpack.
much
to
unpack, to dissect. You recently quit your full-time job to pursue music. Congratulations.
I did. Thank you.
How has that been going?
Um, so it's been like 5 months. The first 3.5 months were like the honeymoon phase of any relationship. Like every day was just amazing. And every day I was like, I got to set up bank accounts and I got like all these little things that
All
had
of the
stacked up.
admin.
Yeah. And I was writing and releasing and recording a music video for Pretty Long Island Girls, my last song. And so like that was very busy. It was getting actors, it was getting friends. I was like, I basically put on a party. A music video is hard enough. And then I was like, let's throw a party within the music video, which is stressful in it by itself. But then I came back, like all that kind of stuff, the wave kind of slowed. And I was in LA for a couple weeks and I got back and like I'm coming out of a low point where it's like the end of August, all your friends are on vacation, I'm kind of back from it, and the TikTok slog, and it's just the day to day. And now I'm like grateful because like that was such a short if I'm lucky, a 2-week low period would be a blessing if that's like what I have. But I think overall since quitting my job, like my biggest takeaway is, well, two. One is not every day is going to be roses. And that's obvious until you got to experience that though. And then second, for anyone listening that's like a creative or quitting their job and doing entrepreneurial things, like the momentum that I built is incredible in the first couple of months. And the way I was treated by people is incredible too. Like my friends were like, I know Harry Styles' producer. Now that you quit, I'm going to send him some of your music. Now nothing's happened, but like that stuff started happening a lot because I like put myself out as this most authentic version of myself. So I'm proud and I feel super grateful, and I'm coming out of the low, and I just love the fall, so I'm ready to go.
I love that you so easily just admit that you're proud of yourself, because you should be. You have 1,000 reasons to be proud of yourself, but it's so hard to be because it's easier to be hard on yourself. It's easier to compare yourself to somebody else. It's easier to say, oh, well, like I did this, but that person did all that. And that's just a losing game. So I love that you can look back at this time. And even though you had a lull, like you still are able to see all of the amazing things that came out of it and all of the hard work you put in. And yeah, I mean, I think exactly to your point of people like connecting you, it's because you're putting yourself out there and you're saying, hey, I'm doing this thing. And I feel like that's the best thing we can do, whether we're looking for connections in our career, whether we're looking to meet people for a dating purpose, whether we are moving to a new place and need to meet new friends. Like the more you just say like, hi, here I am. Like people always ask me, how did I get my freelance positions? Like where was I applying? Where was I finding them? And I'm like, I never applied to anything. I just posted on my Instagram and my LinkedIn that I was freelancing and had all the time in the world and needed clients.
Yeah.
And it was word of mouth. Like it's really, the more you put yourself out there, the more you'll get back.
Yeah. And I feel like, again, given the dating topic of and mission of this podcast, I'll just touch on like as a person before I quit and after, same person presenting myself differently, right? Like when I was like my last relationship, I remember her saying like towards the end, she was like, and she comes from a traditional background and wasn't so into the whole let's date a rock and roll star kind of idea, aspiring. And she was like, I feel like you didn't even mention your music for the first month of us dating.
Wow.
And I used to have this mindset that was like, oh, I want someone to like me for me. And like, I work in finance, and like the music is almost like a secret passion thing.
But the music is you.
It is me. I know. It'd be like, it'd be like Tom Brady being like, I just want you to like me for me. It's like, no, you won 7 Super Bowls, Tom Brady.
Right.
And I would like to win 7 Grammys, but it's going to take time. But like now I have like fully owned who I am.
Yeah.
And that's made a huge difference just in general about like my day to day. And so I feel like that's been a big takeaway too. As I said, there's only 2, there's a million takeaways, but like, just like being able to present yourself and own who you are. And like the new album that I'm going to release next year is called This Is Me. And it's like all the things I didn't want to talk about. And like for like my age in music, no one wants to say like I'm 34 in music. Like that's not cool. Everyone's like 21. So like, I just feel like being able to finally take the jump and quit my job like was the sign to myself. Like, all right, dude, you really do. I've believed in myself the whole time, but like, you really do, and you really can own who you are. And I think that that has made dating easier just on the go forward.
You had a very long countdown to the day you were going to quit your job.
Yes.
How did you decide what day that was going to be, and how did you know you were ready to take that leap of faith? Because it is a leap of faith.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm gonna maybe I will stop saying that's a great question every question, because they're all just really good questions.
I'll take the compliment.
Can we just put a sign here? She has believe
That's
in
a
her
great
apartment.
question.
Let's just put that's a great question.
That's a good podcast name.
Ooh, okay. A spinoff maybe
Yeah.
brewing. The Office has a spinoff. So
I need to stop starting new podcasts, but that's a good name.
It's a good problem to have. How did I get comfortable in the
Yes.
I would say becoming more comfortable in myself allowed me to it's funny, like when I go out to the bar, to go on that topic that we just talked about a little bit, like I'd meet someone at the bar and be like, do I tell them I'm a finance bro? I don't really associate with that, but that's my day job. Do I tell them I'm a musician? Like I don't make any money from that, but that's what I love to do. So that was a weird thing. And I started going to the bar and just started being like, I'm a musician. Like I just started doing it. I don't even know where the idea came from. And then I started owning that and being comfortable with that. And I was like, oh wait, girls in New York are not going to spit in my face for that. Cause you never know. The part of the reason the last relationship ended was we had just different values on risk taking. But anyway, I had this countdown. Yeah. For it was really for 10 years, but I started it. I had a 6-month countdown where I had a lot of good music in my bag, and I had my self-confidence to myself. I felt like I knew myself. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to make this 6-month countdown. There was definitely some stop and starts on the countdown where I didn't update it for a long time and got hard on myself. And I was like, I'm never going to fucking do this. And then the irony was I was, doing music and having a day job was stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was definitely pushing things to the limit, right? Where I was getting my job done, but I was disappearing from the office, and they were like, where is Brett? Where what does he do all day? And they knew I do music, but they didn't know to the full extent. And so anyway, I just felt like I'd pushed it to the limits of where I could still be friends with everybody at the office, but get my music job done and make it number one in my life. So my boss had put this 9 a.m. calendar meeting, basically he calls me, he's like, we need to talk about you being in the office more. We have RTO coming up, we need you in more. And he was like, I need you to come in tomorrow at 9 a.m. and we're going to talk about this.
Oh my God.
And I walked into the office. I decided I'm going to quit that 9 a.m. I'm going to quit the next day. I didn't tell really anyone but my friend Matt, and he's my roommate. And I was like, I think I got to do this because I don't want to get fired. I want to end this on my terms. I want my story to be this was me. And that's my ego. It doesn't want to get fired. I'm an overachiever. But I was like, I want to be done. So anyway, I walked in, and it was so funny because I was trying to beat the words out to his words.
Yeah.
And I was like, he was like, Brett, and I'm like, we should talk about me quitting your clients. And he wasn't even going to talk about my performance or anything.
Yeah.
He was really just wanted to talk about the clients. But I was like, I gotta I'm done. And it was a very pleasant parting of ways. I was there 9 years.
Wow.
It was a really long time. And yeah, it's weird to say I learned things from finance that apply to music, but in anything you have clients, you have people you got to work with. So I did learn some things
Building
about
trust,
Excel. Yeah.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Showing up.
Yes. I learned that I don't want to wear a suit anytime soon,
Never.
but yeah.
That's one of the biggest things. I look at my closet sometimes and I laugh. I'm like, if I had to go into an office for one full week, I would not have anything to wear. I would need to go shopping because I wear this every day, this being athleisure.
Or the seeing other people sweatshirts.
Or the seeing other
right?
people's
That
sweatshirts,
can
yes.
work in any occasion, I think.
Fair. You're a big commitment guy. 9 years at the same job, 10 years with your roommate.
Yes.
Is that something where did that come from in you, you know?
Wow. That's a great question. That's I haven't thought about that. Because it's rare, I guess, for people of our generation, right? It's you take a job and you do it for a year and a half and you go to the next one. Partly I'm a lazy guy, right? It's
It's
living
easier to
living
stay.
with my roommate for 10 years, yeah, that was just like, do we really want to move? Like, and we've looked into it, and the pandemic tried to pull us apart, but
Mm.
like, no, for 10 years we've been on the same lease. It's insane. The job thing was a little different because, and I feel like you would get this too, like, it allowed me to continue doing music. Like, I had a 9 to 5, and I was in sales. So like for sales, like, and this is gonna sound like I didn't do my job. Like, my mom is gonna hear this and be like, she always hates when I'm like, I didn't do my job. But like, I did do my job, just to put that in the universe. But like, I could just come and go. Like, it
Uh-huh.
was it was it was the right situation for a musician. It was kind of rare cuz like it funded all my music.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, long story short, like, I think it was like just a matter of the situations where my roommate's an amazing person, my job was amazing for the situation that I needed in life, and
Yeah.
yeah, here I am, single at 34.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing
I know.
wrong with that.
I say it in partly kidding.
Let me ask you this, finance bro, musician, these are characteristics that when people are swiping on apps, I know you told me that you don't use dating apps that
But I
much,
have, so
but you
I
have.
know. Yeah, I know.
How do you think people perceive you based on like how were people perceiving you when you worked in finance versus now when you say you're a musician? Like I think in dating, both of those terms bring up question marks for people.
Yes, yes. Yeah. It's really funny. Like, now when I go to the bar and I'm at a bar with a lot of finance people and I say I'm a musician, it's actually like not actually, it's viewed as a positive. Oh, you're
Mm.
different. You see the world differently. The funny thing that comes to mind with Hinge is like, I remember putting like some weird area in like the west. It was like, I live on Hudson Street in Hoboken.
Mhm.
And there's a Hudson Street in the West Villagey area. So I remember in like the early days of Hinge, when I couldn't own Hoboken and I wanted to date someone in New York, I had like Hudson Street, the New
New
York
York.
one. And it was like for years I was like, that's fine, that's fine. And then I'm like, it was a couple years ago, I'm like, no, like full transparency,
Well, were you meeting people and having to tell them, "Oh, I actually live in Hoboken"?
This is funny because I feel like somehow it never went far enough that it mattered, I guess, with anybody.
Okay.
Like, maybe it was like a date or two, and it wasn't a big deal. And or maybe I didn't have enough dating success back then to actually give you some good data back. But that was what it was.
Yeah.
And then it's like, now and one of my biggest holdups, and I hope this is connecting as people when they listen, but like, I had a big holdup, saying I'm like a self-employed musician.
Mhm.
It's like one of the fears from quitting my job literally was like, what are people on Hinge going to think of me? And I filmed the 6 months before I quit. I filmed videos talking to the camera before I quit, so I could
Mhm.
look back on it and look at myself. And one of the videos was like, what are the girls on Hinge going to think of me when I'm not in finance, when I don't have something stable behind me? And like, yeah, to be on the other side of that, where it's like my Hinge profile is like musician,
Mhm.
34, Hoboken. Like, it's fun now to own all these things that if they're a red flag for someone, we're not the right fit, obviously. And it's
100%.
like, anyway, took me a
Well,
long time to figure that out, though.
I think it's great that you did because exactly to your point, what one person sees as a red flag, someone else might see as the biggest green flag that, wow, you had this passion and you used your 9 to 5 to support it for a while. And then you took a leap of faith and bet on yourself and you're pursuing this dream. Some people will look at that as the most attractive thing ever.
Mm,
And if other people want to look at that as, well, this person's not stable and I want to be with somebody who has a stable finance job, fine. But
yes.
again, like there's people who are for you and there's people who are not for you. And the best thing you can do is own your story.
Yeah. Yeah. But it takes years of like trial and error to be
Totally.
like, it's so funny. 34 and single, to me, like, if we were 20 years old talking, be like, no way.
Right.
And I actually, one of the songs off my album is like all about how, like, the opening lyric is like, I thought I'd be married with 2 kids in a house right now, and
Wow.
I don't have that. I just posted the first teaser clip on TikTok, and like, people were resonating with that, that idea. And it's funny that, like, the hook that I put on top was like, it was something about like, you're 34 and single, question mark, like, what's wrong with you, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Because growing up, like, we grew up to think like, wow, like 30 years old, house, kids, all that kind of stuff. And especially where we live, it's different now.
Yeah.
Anything post-pandemic, dating has changed significantly. And that's okay. Like, you just roll with it.
What would you say to anybody who is thinking or saying you're 34 and single. What's wrong with you?
I know I walked right into that, didn't I?
You did.
What's wrong with me? I think, yeah, no, I'm far from perfect, obviously. Um, I am like very patient though when it comes to like meeting the right person. I think in the last couple of years, like post the pandemic of, all that kind of stuff, I've met a lot of people, and I don't believe that like the initial spark is everything. But I do believe that like within the first couple of dates, like you're married, you get a
Mhm.
feeling for someone. You kind of know that feeling. And I actually haven't felt that in a while, and I want that. I'm like, I miss that. My roommate,
Mhm.
he went through a breakup. He's like, Brett, are you a little jealous that I'm going through heartbreak right now? I'm like, that would meant that I felt something. That'd be good.
Mm.
But I think, overall, like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's plenty of things wrong with me, and for the right person, they won't be wrong. And but I'm very patient. Like I know it's out there, so that's my advice to anyone. It's very hard. Like I saw one of your podcast episodes. Someone came on and she was like, I haven't been in a relationship yet. I'm 30,
Mhm.
and like I want to give her. I don't know her name, but like round of applause for that is very impressive to be able to come on and be like, I'm gonna be vulnerable like that.
Yeah.
So I loved that. I got to dive into that episode, but I saw like a clip and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that the truth that is hard for people to accept, but like there's nothing wrong with you. Like your relationship status has nothing to do with the type of person you are, the things that make you you. Like it's just one part of your life, and what matters is how you see yourself. And I think that's the toughest part about it is we're so hard on ourselves. We're so quick to judge ourselves, but we would never judge a friend for being 34 and single, 30
Right.
and single. Like
Right.
we would say to them, yeah, like I see so many amazing things about you. There's so much I love about you. And you should wait for the right person who's going to see all of those things and more.
Yeah, I think the funny thing about being 34 and single is like my friends that are my age, we're going out together. Like we're going out with like our friends' younger brothers now. We're
Hmm.
like recruiting the next like crop of talent. We're like, we'll call you up. So that's I think where it gets a little more difficult is like finding the pockets where it's like I can meet girls in their 30s
Hmm.
who are single, who are like open to dating and that because anyone in general has trauma,
Yeah.
and like as every year we get older, there's unfortunately like more shit happens, and we just have to process that. So
Yeah.
we're like trying to find the people who are like-minded to me, because I can go to the bar and meet a lot of younger people, and then I'm like, there's some people who are so emotionally mature at 25, but it's different. Yeah.
You keep bringing up like meeting people at a bar, and I
Yeah.
know what everyone's thinking right now is how.
Yeah.
Because that is the number one question I get asked. How do I meet people in real life? How do you do it?
Well, my I'm just gonna call him Mies because that's what I call him, that my roommate. But I feel like having a wing person to go out with and
Mhm.
like be on this journey with you is very important. And I feel like I went through a breakup 3 years ago, and we got out of the pandemic. Was like, I gotta figure out. I'm never the guy that's like gonna approach girls. I kind of had this thought, and like in groups of friends, there's right. I don't know what your role is like in the single days in your friend group. Like,
Mhm.
were you the approacher? Were you the one that was like, I'm gonna bring them in? Like that was never me.
I think it weirdly was me.
That's
I
awesome.
think I
Props.
had no shame.
Yeah,
I
that's
had no
great.
shame.
Everyone needs that. But
Yeah.
like, I was never that in my friend group, even though I'm a very social person. I was like,
Mm-mm.
I don't want to intrude. Um, but Meese and I now like kind of made it our mission over the last couple of years to be like, we don't want to use the dating apps as much. We want to go out and meet more people. And what's funny is like the self belief, like the more confidence in yourself just helps with the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
because I used to have the mindset of like, let's go over and approach Alana and friends, and I'm bothering them though.
Mm.
And now I'm like, no, I know I'm a great person and I can bring a lot to like the table of whatever we're doing. I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna add value. That's the least sexy thing that you could possibly
I'm
say.
gonna add
But like you and I
value.
talking on this couch,
Yeah.
that's how I would say it to you. But
Yeah.
like at the bar, be like, let's go crazy and talk about elephants, like something silly. So that's my mindset shift that has really helped. Where it's like it's not an intrusion. It
Mhm.
is. It's like we're gonna have fun. We're gonna add to the party.
And if they're
Yeah.
out at a bar, that's probably their goal too, to have
Right.
fun. And I also think that as long as you like you said, like you know yourself, you like yourself, you know what you bring to the table. Like I think that's so important because if you for some reason get rejected or they're like closed off, they're not really interested
Yeah.
in whatever, it's not personal because it can't because they don't know you
Yes.
personally.
Well said.
It's just that they're not in the mood or they have something else going on or they're in an intense conversation or they're just someone got out of a relationship and isn't ready to talk to boys yet. Like it's
Or there's
just
a lot of weird people out there.
totally.
And like you have to have your guard up. I have a sister. She
Yeah.
better have her guard up, you know?
100%. But it's not, oh, Brett sucks.
Right.
It's not that because they don't know you and they don't know that whether you suck or not.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do think like to get like it'd be great to see a wave of more like people meeting in person. And it's also funny because it's like I've seen it on TikTok recently where like there'll be girls being like we're like they'll literally be on TikTok making a post like at the bar with all my girlfriends, like no guys approaching us, what the hell's going on? And it's like, do you see that guy? Go over and like talk about that. So
well, what pisses me off is seeing people post these like missed connections. Like if you were at the Stumble Inn on Sunday at 3:00 and you were wearing a blue shirt and brown sneakers, like message me because I really wanted to say hi to you. It's like, are you kidding me?
Is it girls mostly doing that or you seen guys doing that too?
I see more girls doing that.
Yeah.
Like just
yeah, what is this weird thing that like girls like, it's this stupid stereotype.
Yes.
Girls go say hi. Like but it does you know what's funny? This was a couple years ago. As Mies and I have been on this journey of like say hi to everyone. And my dad is amazing at saying hi to everyone, so I feel like it's in me, but it took a while to get out. And we were out with my sister and her friends, and I don't know. I guess she saw me and Mies like saying hi to all these people, and it inspired her. And she went over to 5 guys and just like stole one of their hats. My sister is shy, and like she killed it. And then she like went out with someone like from that, and like that was really cool. And yeah, I never. It didn't amount to anything monumental, but like it was a monumental in the moment, I think, for her.
And it's a positive experience to do it and realize, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
It's not that scary. I'm not going to spontaneously combust.
Yeah. Now, do you hear like your friends from the like what? Yeah. Do you hear a lot of girls trying to approach more guys at bars? Like,
Everyone
what are you hearing?
Wants to try to.
Yeah.
I think there's a big gap between the wanting to and the actually trying to.
Yeah.
But I think when I talk to people who actually do it, they're so pleasantly surprised at how easy it was. Even if nothing comes out of it. Maybe you don't get a date out of it, but you prove to yourself that you can do it. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. I think that's good to hear that like it's on the forefront. What's funny for me is like, and again, I hope this is helpful, but whenever I talk to someone new and they bring up something and I feel like the heat sensation in my face, because I when I go out now, I try to drink a lot less, like 1 or 2 drinks, and I love places that have water, like readily available. Call me old fashioned, but when someone brings up something to me and I feel it in my body, I'm like, that's an insecurity, and I need to like think about why that's an insecurity. Now, I'm not figuring it out at the bar at 2 a.m,
right?
But like I'm then like, because like Hoboken, every time. And this could tie into more topics, music, all this stuff, the song. But I would go to the bar and like I'd have girls be like Jersey, ill, and like every time that happened, it like was trained into me like, huh? Like why am I feeling this insecurity around this place that I love? I also on my new album wrote a song about New Jersey and about how I love it, and it's just so funny that like. You could be like, you love this thing and then people start to say something about it and it gets into you.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm all about, I feel like I saw it on one of your posts or something about reframing. It was in one of your podcast descriptions. But I was like, reframing, great. Cause that's so key with anything.
Have you found that people are less interested in you when you say that you're living in New Jersey in Hoboken?
So I feel like there's a before and after my mindset shift. Like before, it was literally like going out on dates, people hearing from New Jersey, ending. It was like done. And now it's like I say I'm from New Jersey and it doesn't matter. And I think it's all just I'm different now. You know, like back then, like it got to me and it was a whole energy thing. And now I'm like, this is who I am. One of my favorite like male role models is Dax Shepard, like armchair
Love
expert.
the
Like,
best.
yeah, and I kind of now sometimes think like, how would Dax react to that, you know? And he's like, he seems so self assured, and after years of work on himself. So anyway, I kind of aspire. That's like a big, yeah, I want to
Yeah.
get there.
I
Do you have a aspirational person in like media or in life? It could be your parents.
That's a really hard question. I
Mm,
don't know.
okay.
I think for me, I try not to not cling on, but like, for example, when I was starting the podcast, Dating Sucks at Hinge, I had
Yeah.
never listened to a podcast before.
Wow.
And I was just like, I want to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And the month or two leading up to recording the first episode, I was like, I should probably be listening to other podcasts. But I was like, wait, I know myself. And if I do that, I'm going to accidentally try and be like somebody else. And I want to be exactly myself, whether it's the right way to podcast or the wrong way. I don't really care. I just want it to be like the authentic way to me. And so, like, sure, I think Alex Cooper is an incredible
Yeah.
interviewer,
Yeah,
and
love
I
her.
admire her interviewing skills, but I'm not trying to be her.
Yeah.
I think I really have just leaned into the idea of like I like doing the things that I do and the way that I do them, and that's not to say they're perfect. That's not to say there's no room for growth, because there absolutely is, but I know that if I focus too much on trying to emulate the success of somebody else, then I'm going to lose myself in it.
That's amazing. God bless. That's so good. It's the same thing with creating music too. It's
Yeah.
like I have my influences, and the more that you make music, the better you get at it, and
Mhm.
like you pull more of your influences, but there's something about the naive like first time I'm ever doing a podcast, like I don't know how this is supposed to go. Yeah, that's really cool. That's a great mindset to have.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to take
Thank
you
you.
wherever you want to go.
Thank you. I just
Yeah.
want to go from the couch to bed to the dog park.
Well, then you're doing it. Okay,
to
perfect.
Sugarfish and
Yes.
back. Okay. When it comes to writing music,
Yeah.
that's a really vulnerable thing.
Yes.
How has that impacted the way you see yourself, the way you see the world, and your relationships?
That's yeah. It's funny. I feel like more. I think I now can be more vulnerable talking
Mm-hmm.
than through music, or it's equal. But there was definitely a period where like I was more vulnerable through music only. But the constant battle, and I'm going through it right now, is like I want to be cool. You're right. Like I have all my musical inspirations. I'm like John Mayer.
But what
he's
does
so
cool mean to you?
Right. But this is the right. Cool means not giving a fuck about like what other people's are thinking of you. Cool, I think, also means knowing yourself. So maybe I already am. It's like maybe I already am cool. But like it's funny because I think to clarify it more, it's like and it's still in my brain no matter how much I want to get it out. Is this gonna look weird to like someone trying to date me? Like, like because like we're living in social media land where it's like one of my friends recently was like I've been friends with her for years. She's like, I see your social media. Are you ready for a relationship? And I said, yeah, why? She said, based on your social media, I don't know if I agree with that.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, we haven't hung out in 2 years. So like all you're getting is social media. But yeah, it's a constant battle of like, wait, this is not good. I'm not going to look cool here. I'm not going to look as dateable here, but I got to ignore that.
Yeah.
And I got to just make the art. I got to not worry about other people's opinions. That's like the number one thing that I go through of like it's so cliche, but it's
real.
for real.
It's
Yeah,
real and it's there, but to play devil's advocate, which I know you know because you're out here doing it, it's following your passions, doing the things that fulfill you, regardless of what other people think. That is going to bring you to the right person for you who sees that and thinks it's cool.
Yeah.
And supports that and encourages more of that. I remember when I was doing the podcast and when I was doing Social at Hinge, my whole thing was like, I don't want someone to not want to date me because of my job. I definitely had that fear. And especially
What
when
was the concern, you think?
I think part of it was because I had this platform and I was talking about dating that
Because of the
people,
podcast, right?
the podcast
Not a
and
Wizard of
social.
Oz Hinge thing. Like, I work at Hinge, I pull all the strings,
Well, people actually
I
did
got you to
yeah.
match me.
No, people like did accuse me of that. I'm like, no.
We have
You
nothing in
you
common. How did
liked
we
me
match?
on your own accord. Nobody forced you to do that. But I think for some people there was this fear that I would talk about them in content, and I never wanted anybody to not want to date me because of what I did. And then when it came to being more vulnerable and being more open about what I was struggling with and, what my downfalls and my red flags were, I definitely was more afraid. But at the same time, I also knew the right person is going to support this and think that this is like really awesome and they're going to see all the good in it. And
Yeah.
Jake did.
Yes.
He was my biggest cheerleader from the day we met.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an inspirational story right there.
That it is.
And a co-host I saw as well.
And now a co-host in podcast and in life.
That's amazing. Yeah. Right. No, I think if we worry about what other people think, we'll never do anything for ourselves. So I think, like, for me, quitting the job was like the biggest sign to me. Like, all right, you can move on from what other people think, and it's still going to be in your day to day, and it's still going to be in some of your. It's funny. It's usually in like the social media decisions. Like, when I'm making the music, I'm not worried about what other people are going to think. In fact, like, the first song that all my friends love from me is called Vacancy Signs, and it was about how I had this crush on like a 20-year. She was like 20 years older than me. And I was like, I'm really nervous to share this song because it's very vulnerable. I'm like crushing on a 50-something-year-old in my 20s, or maybe it was 30 years older. It was a big gap, but they love that song, and they're like, we love this. This is amazing. Like, this is you. This is vulnerable. This is fun. Whereas like the other songs in my earlier days, I was like, I'm trying to be cool. Like, those didn't hit. So I feel like on my new album, like, or even Pretty Long Island Girls, the song is about a guy from New Jersey failing and like admiring these Long Island girls and just failing, and it's really funny when we were making the music video, we were trying to figure out the ending of the story in this video. And I was like, oh yeah, like, I get the girl. And then Meese, who also helped co-write the song, ironically, his first time ever writing a song, he was like, Brett, do you remember what the song is about? I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. I don't get the girl, but that's scared. I don't want to not get the girl. So like,
real.
It's real. And it's just been really funny. Because like, yeah, now I've been posting about it on TikTok, a song where I don't get the girl. And then like Long Island girls are connecting with it. And they're like, we'll go out with you. Like,
hey, there you go.
Very funny. Yeah. Really not why I do music, but like, it is just a funny side effect. Yeah.
What would be your dream way to meet somebody?
Yeah, definitely in person. I mean, I think my most fun like meet cute story was, and this probably answers the question, was I was at a wedding in Charleston a couple years ago that I didn't want to, like, my mom was like, you should go. I'm like, I'm not going to know anybody. I don't, like, should I go? And I went, and it was me and this girl, and we were the only two single people at the whole wedding.
Oh my God.
And like, we didn't know that. Anyway, we had a great, like, amazing night together. It was where I learned about how on Spotify you can like match your, like, see your musical tastes with a friend. I forget what it's called, but like, you can basically see what your musical match score is.
Ooh.
And we were like a 97% or something.
Oh my God, should we see what we are?
I know. I don't even know where my phone is. We'll do a BTS
yes.
of that. But yeah, that was like, I always remember that moment. But we met at the wedding, like, it was amazing. And then I was so into it that we had talked about Amos Lee as this artist we both like, and we were talking about like symphony orchestras, and she was like, and somehow it came up where it was like, if he ever plays with a symphony orchestra, like, we gotta go. And then I don't know if she like inceptioned me or something, but like, he then was playing in Atlanta where she lives.
No way.
And like a week and a half after the wedding, I flew down for like 18 hours, and we like went to the show. It was an amazing time. Ultimately, like, we don't live close enough to like keep the dream alive. But that was a really cool meet cute story. and she's a very creative person who comes from business. Like that's kind of what I'm into. And so anyway, that was just a lot of that would be cool.
That is awesome.
And it was cool. So.
Well, and I love that you just went for it and flew back down, like why not?
Why not? Yeah, it was a great experience. Like amazing. Taylor Swift's album came out that night. We had like a listening party after. Yeah, it was good.
I think we get in our head so much of like, well, what's the end goal? Or like this feels really good, but on paper it won't work out. It's like you're allowed to feel good and excited about something for a little while, even if it's not going to go the distance. Not every love story or dating experience has to either end in marriage or a traumatic ending.
Right.
Like you could just have fun.
Yes. And I don't know, I'm sure your listeners have heard the story of Jake, right? Mm-hmm. You and Jake, like, but did you guys take it? Like, did you talk about like, all right, we're 6 months in and this is amazing and maybe this can go the distance, but let's not put pressure on it. Like, did you find the healthy balance, you think? Like, or maybe it was the first date where you're like, no, this is going to be a forever thing.
I definitely not on the first date, but I think as time went on, we both just saw it continuing. Like, I don't think it was like, oh my God, we're going to get married. Like, I don't think there was a point in that I was like, this is it. And I don't think there was a point where I was like, let's slow down. I think it just flowed very easily and naturally. And because I was doing the podcast, because he was listening and is a fan of podcasts in general, like we just continued to have open conversations about where this was going.
Yeah.
And I think 6 months in, we talked about like, oh, like in a year when the lease is up, like we'll move in together because that would feel good if things continue to go the way they're going. It was very like there was no pressure put on it from either one of us. I think it felt good and it just flowed.
Yeah, that's beautiful, right? There is no symphony orchestra that Amos Lee didn't come out and be like, you guys should probably get married. I feel like from my last relationship, which was 3 years ago at this point, but like my biggest takeaway was communication and how important it is, obviously, and I've touched on it, but like I watched a lot after the breakup. I was very low, obviously, and I watched a lot of podcasts on like breakups and stuff. And I remember because the way that we broke up was ultimately like I was doing music and we kind of had a fight while I was away. And then like we had talked about me quitting my job to do music at some point, but like never really got into it. I would always brush it off. I wasn't a great communicator. And then it just turned into like an explosive thing of like, this isn't going to work. We probably should have had this conversation a long time ago. But I remember one of the podcasts was like, whenever you're going to have a difficult conversation or any conversation with your partner that like has some meat to it, like think of it as like a tennis match. Like, are you on the same side of the net or are you like playing against each other? I feel like for the rest of my life, I always think that like you and I, we're on the same side of the net. We're trying to make this awesome, it's collaborative.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I think of any conversation that you guys might have had. It sounds like we're going to be collaborative about this. So that's cool.
Yeah. And I think that is really how it should be. And of course, things aren't always that easy.
Yes.
But at the same time, it shouldn't be you versus them.
Right. Oh, no. Yeah, that would be bad. That's all I'd say on that. That would be bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Final question for you.
Yeah. And you've kept these all in your head. Like, so that's awesome. Like,
what?
Just the topics of like, let's cover the quitting and the this and the that.
Yeah.
Like, that's no notes.
Well, I
no
told
notes.
you, I don't like to outline because
it's so good.
I'm not in the business of interviewing.
Yeah.
I'm not, and sure I can be, but this is a conversation. We're hanging out.
Yeah.
We're having a play date. What is the best piece of dating or relationship advice you've ever received and have to give? And you may have just given it with the tennis.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just thinking though for like a second, just in general on dating and all that stuff. I think I'm just gonna free flow it here. I come from the school of rom-com, like growing up. And I still love romantic comedies, and I think as I've gotten older, I now am like analyzing the social dynamics a little bit more. Like why is that girl chasing him? He didn't really do anything that cool. But but now in my life, I'm like, life is not a romantic comedy. It can blossom into something that amazing. So I'm not a believer in like, like there has to be a spark immediately, but I do feel like there's this feeling that you get with someone. Like when I can look someone in the eye and be like, I want to feel that energy like all day, all night, 24/7. That's when I'm into someone. And I guess what we talked about earlier was like, but when you're not feeling that, trying to have those honest conversations as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've talked about so much. I don't know if I can like sum it up into a bow.
No,
but,
that's perfect. That's
yeah.
perfect. Thank you so much for being here. Where can everybody find you? Where can they hear your music?
Sure.
Shout out, all the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this. Seriously.
Thank you.
And I said it twice. I'll say it one more time. Like I want this to be helpful to everyone who's listening. So you can find me at Brett Altman Music. Yeah, and if I can be of help to anyone like in your community, like I'm here. Yeah, Brett Altman Music. Pretty Long Island Girls is out now, and This Is Me. The album's going to be out probably early next year. So anyway,
hell yeah,
this has been awesome.
We'll have you back when the album's out.
Yes.
And I need to give a special shout out because I think you are the last person ever to be a guest on the podcast in this apartment, and thank you for putting up with the apartment being an absolute train wreck and tornado as we pack.
Can we carve our names into the... No, this is the first time I'm ever here. I'm going to carve my name into the apartment. Let's not do that.
Let's not do that. I would really like to get my security deposit back.
That's
but
fair.
I appreciate the sentiment. And if we find some sidewalk that's being redone, we can do it
or
there.
a tree. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thanks.
End of an era.
End of an era. Wow.